Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Board members, tonight, since several of us are going to be attending the retirees dinner, as far as the insurance update, the TLN update, the FRN update, we'll hold off till Thursday. And if possible, let's do a general discussion also on Thursday, unless someone has something they really need to talk about tonight. Is that okay with the board? Okay, good. Okay, the agenda. Any questions, comments, additions, deletions? Hearing none. Anything with the consent agenda?
On the consent agenda, there's some ongoing conversation on item C, and it may be on Thursday night that I ask for that to be brought to the regular agenda, but I'm undecided right now.
Okay. Okay, on Thursday, we'll have a recognition portion with the assistant superintendent, secondary school assistant superintendent of the year, principal of the year, excuse me.
That was, yeah, assistant principal. That was it Tori Ruiz last year? We've had
Yes, sir.
several of
Yes,
them.
And then principal of the year, I think, was
Dirk was one time. and
Mr. Ash.
John
So,
Ash.
yeah. Love the recognition. Okay. Mr. 8, Mr. Odom.
And number 8 is the online school grades 9 through 12. The instruction department is requesting approval of the following changes for the 2015 online school course development and instruction. Student tuition will continue to be $125 per 1/2 credit for high school course work as in 2013 and 14. Currently, teachers are paid $125 per student enrolled in their online course. Instruction is proposed the following plan. Teachers will receive a base pay for the first course per term of $200. A term is defined as one 8-week quarter during the academic school year, or 8 weeks in the summer, which are 2 4-week sessions. If a teacher is teaching more than one course in the same term, the teacher will receive an additional base pay of $100 per course. Additionally, teachers will receive their traditional pay of $125 per student, as they do now. Recommend approval of motion to approve the instruction department's request for the online school teachers to be paid a base pay as presented. I've spoken with Jeff Sandvig about this. This is not a problem. Right now, we are covering the cost with the tuitions that's involved. This is, will be, we've 2 years, we will have completed 2 years this year, I guess, of that. So, other questions y'all might have about that? The teachers, they communicate online, they take the course online, the teachers talk with them. It's a pretty robust online program that they monitor.
We have summer school sessions. This is not necessarily summer school, is it?
No, sir. It's not the
Okay.
students attend the summer school.
Okay.
We make a little more than that, in the summer school session. Actually teaching the classes.
Anybody else? Number 9.
Number 9 is under facilities, and we've got a couple of those. The Siegel High School under bleacher storage building. Principal Larry Creasy has requested permission to construct a 14 feet by 48 feet storage building under the home side of the football stadium bleachers at Siegel High School. The building will be used to store equipment for all sports. There's no gender equity issue, and the construction will be masonry with asphalt shingles. The application for campus construction has been completed by the school and approved by the Engineering and Construction Department. The estimated cost of the building is $18,610. The only cost to the Rutherford County Board is the exterior paint. that will be furnished through the maintenance department to match the existing paint colors. All other costs will be paid by funds from the Siegel Boosters and school funds. The recommended approval, the motion is to approve construction of a 14 feet by 48 feet storage building at Siegel High School as presented. We have some of these at other schools too, have some underneath the bleachers also.
I don't think that'd be,
We'll have to replace the roof.
well, that's what I was just thinking. We should have to worry about the roof for a while with it being underneath.
My understanding, this is gonna be several different, this is not just band, but it's, way Mr. Clardy was, in talking with them, anybody that uses the field, if it's soccer, or if it's football, or if it's a band, or if it's other people, they're gonna share in the cost of this and share in the storage there, if they use the field.
I would love to see how this works as far as being separated and,
That's a large building.
yeah.
14 by 48.
Different sections or something.
Put more in one door, I'd say, don't you?
I would suspect. B,
B is the Thurman Francis Arts Academy Storage Shed. Principal Jeff Duke has requested permission to purchase and install a 12 feet by 20 feet storage at Thurman Francis Arts Academy for sports clubs, equipment, and materials. It will be located at the back of the main building between portable number 4 and the block shed. Mr. Duke would like to buy from an existing bid that is in place from Conyer Buildings for the amount of $3,695 at no cost to the Rutherford County School Board. So the motion is to approve purchase and installation by Corner Buildings from a bid number 3076, the 12 feet by 20 feet storage stage at Thurman Francis Arts Academy for $3,695 as presented at no cost to the Rutherford County School Board.
So that wonderful book that you brought us,
Is out of date.
no, no longer correct, is it? More square footage.
growing exponentially. C,
C is professional services contract for a topographical survey of the John Coleman Elementary School site and Roy Waldron addition site. Enoch Gerald of Huddleston Steel Engineering has submitted a professional services contract for the John Coleman Elementary School site and the Roy Waldron addition site topographic survey. Both proposals include preparing a topographic survey for the sites, including locating existing buildings, utilities, and other visible features. The cost of the survey for John Coleman is $8,620 and for Roy Waldron, $4,990. Recommend approval of the motion to approve professional services contracts for Huddleston Steel Engineering, Inc. for topographic surveying of the proposed John Coleman site in the amount of $8,620 and proposed Roy Waldron addition site in the amount of $4,990 as presented.
I have one comment. It's not really specific to this contract and the survey work, but on the John Coleman project, typically we do not go to the expense of having an architectural model made of these because it is an additional expense. However, there's a unique circumstance at John Coleman, and I was thinking about that construction. We're essentially taking the entire facility and relocating it right across the pathway there on their own site. The elementary age students are going to get the opportunity to watch that entire structure be built. And in an elementary student's mind, to be able to see an architectural model of that, you know, three-dimensional, the whole thing with the little itty-bitty people, you know, kind of like their Lego sets and everything, I think this might be a place where in their wonderful library, which is part of the facility that's going to stay, where an architectural model might be a worthy investment, where it could actually serve educationally and inspirationally for that campus to be able to really dream about what's to come.
Why don't we ask Mr. Binkley, see what it runs, and then we'll bring it back to you.
Okay.
I hadn't thought about that.
at what point will you decide what's to be salvaged for use at that facility?
Well, we're already incorporating that front area, the old, or the newest part of the building, which is the gym and the media center. That will be incorporated as other parts of the building into the main building. But we're building a new gym, because that one's so small. But those will be the only ones that are incorporated into the new building, and then the rest of it will be vacant.
I know Hands-on Science is taking up, what, 8 classrooms at Walter Hill, and that would be nice to free those up and utilize some of the storage there potential storage there at John Coleman.
That kind of,
Have the portable stuff into the.
y'all,
Kind of
it's
rest.
like a little portable town right there. You know, we've got our own back in the back with all those portables, but right in front, there's going, you know, those will all remain. And I don't know, I think we just let them use that property, they furnish their own portables and things, but they put just bunches of awnings up and just all kinds of different things there. And then we're gonna have to relocate their parking, because their parking is part of their area now to the back side over there. And I don't know how that's all going to work out, but hopefully it will.
We actually own a house, the joint, Jason, that or something, don't we, or some other deal?
We own that old house that was part of the military base over there at one time, and we're going to demolish that in this process. It's a hazard right now.
I'll continue to be an advocate for going ahead and making the decision to demolish as much of John Coleman Elementary as we possibly can justify. I do not want us to be in a place where anyone suspects that we have surplus space. We have made an effective case that this facility is inadequate and dilapidated, and I really think we ought to stay on that track, even resisting urges to rehab that facility, because it is just inadequate. I'll listen for a strong case for it to be rehabbed, but the reason we're getting a new John Coleman Elementary is because that facility is in such poor repair, and I would like for it to go away and then be reconstituted, for the same type of land that we are able to put the new John Coleman. There'll be a reason for that raw land as opposed to something else. If we're going to face the jeopardy or the possibility of a charter school in our county or something of that nature, it'll be up in that area. We don't want surplus square footage sitting around.
I think, go ahead, Mr.
I would be surprised, once you move kids out of it, that you could get permission to put them back in it. Because the numbers of restrooms and, the standards change. If you continually occupy, they'll waive a lot of that, but if you ever stop and try to go back, fire requirements, no.
Your grandfather did certain points, but at the point that that
Okay.
And I think in the initial talks with this facility, it was decided that the majority of it would be demolished because of the age and condition, but that there was potential that maybe some of it could be salvaged and utilized for a satellite maintenance area or possible storage. So, but I think for the most part, I think it's always been understood that the majority of it would be demolished. D.
D is proposal for boundary survey of proposed Rocky Fork property for middle and elementary school. Joseph Brown of Brown Land Surveying has submitted a professional services proposal for a boundary survey of the proposed Rock Fork for purposes of purchasing 75 acres of property by the Rutherford County School Board. The scope of work for this proposal includes deed research for subject and adjacent properties, a field run survey of boundary features, locating boundary lines, structures, improvements, and visible utilities, setting of new property corners and locating encroachments, and producing a new survey map and legal description. The cost of this proposal is $6,000. And this motion is to approve a professional services contract for Brown Land Surveying LLC for surveying the 75-acre tract Rocky Fork property in the amount of $6,000 as presented. And for people listening on TV, this is for the proposed elementary and middle school, new one in the Smyrna area is what this is for.
That piece of property is big enough for the elementary school, middle school, and possibly a middle school annex, 10 years, whatever. Is that correct?
How many acres were 75 acres should do that?
Time we get that built, which is, I know, going to be pretty soon, we're going to really need it, aren't we? There's no doubt about it. Need it now, really. Yeah.
Number 10.
Number 10 is financial matters. This is teacher and visitor lunch prices for 2015-16. The federal government requires that the following criteria be met in establishing teacher meal prices. The criteria is as follows for 2014-15. The highest district full pay meal price, which would be high school, is $2.25. Federal government reimbursement for full pay meals, 35 cents. Federal government USDA entitlement funding, 28 cents. That brings to $2.88. So a meal price could be set at $2.90. The criteria for 15-16 is estimated at the following. Again, the highest district full pay meal price, currently $2.25. The reimbursement for full pay meals, currently 38 cents. Federal government USDA entitlement funding, currently 29 cents, for a total of $2.92. That would make the meal price rounded off to $3. Recommend approval. Motion to set 2015-16 lunch prices at $3 for teachers and staff and $3.25 for visitors. And let me explain to you what happens here. The federal government will not let you to use the commodities for adults or their reimbursement for adults. And I mean, this has been in place as long as I can remember. I mean, in education, it's been part of the federal lunch program. So whatever you set your meals for your teachers or parents or other people that visit the school, since the federal government will not let you subsidize their meal with their monies, you have to set it above that so that the persons pay for it. We don't have a choice under the program, but Jeff Samby can talk to you more about that.
We just discussed setting it at the minimum. Basically, we had gotten an email complaining about our $3.10 this year price for adults, visitors, $3.25. We see no need to go to $4 because of change. This is change we knew we'd have to make. We want to try to hold our student prices for another year.
Well, you know, you saw at your last meeting having to transfer, $980,000, out of your ending fund to balance it. From that, and the issue is that kids are not eating as much. I mean, the federal rules about what you serve and how you serve. I was talking to Mr. Blair today. They're going to try to get some waivers to back off a little bit on the whole grain piece. When you get to pasta and some things like that, either a mix or something. And so, we'll make application to try to make it more palatable to what the the students will eat. But it's since the federal government's so involved, they've really not helped the participation in the federal lunch program.
And he's talking about Mr. Fred Blair, not,
Yes, I did tell you I would say. I would do.
anytime we're talking about meal prices increase, I want to make sure we get the right Blair named, so. Anybody? Number 11.
Number 11 is rezoning of Stewart's Creek Elementary and Stewart's Creek Middle parcels into Rock Springs Elementary and Rock Springs Middle zones. Currently, 2 new subdivisions are being developed. Woodcrest and Buckingham are zoned for Stewart's Creek Elementary and Middle. These 2 subdivisions are connected to the existing Woodmont subdivision, which is zoned for Rock Springs Elementary and Middle. Without rezoning, buses would have to enter the Rock Springs zones to transport students to Stewart's Creek schools. Currently, only 3 students would be affected. And the recommended approval of the motion is to approve zone lines as presented. This is to keep them driving through one zone to get to another. This is developing areas. The houses are generally not built yet. There's only 3 people involved. And Shane's been over this, and so that's the purpose of this, mainly some transportation and to keep us from driving through one zone to get another one. There's a need for a public hearing for 3, so. And you've already talked to some of the people involved in this, Mr. Snell, some inquiries.
12.
Number 12 is the naming of Laverne Lake Elementary School Library Media Center. Pursuant to Policy 3.210, the director may make recommendations to the board for naming a portion of a school campus. Recommend approval of the motions to approve naming of Laverne Lake Elementary School's Library Media Center after Joanna Whitmire. Ms. Whitmire passed away this year, and the school has requested that they honor her and what she did in opening that school and starting it up and getting it ready by naming that media center after her.
And we're going to do, Mr. Sandvig, I think you're going to do our insurance update Thursday night. Board members, I apologize, I had a conflict. I could not attend the insurance meeting last Thursday, but I think as Mr. Sandvig and Ms. Barnes will attest, there wasn't that much discussed. So I'll do my very best not to miss any more, but it was just a conflict I could not help. Of course, Mr. Hodge is going to talk about, although most of the work is done, I'm sure you probably can shed some light on some other things Thursday night, if that's okay. And Mr. Holliday, I think the federal issues are moving along quite rapidly from what I've read so far.
Moving along.
So, again, unless there's a passionate need for something, Mr. Jordan?
It's not passionate, but while I've got it on my mind, I watched the Marathon Public Safety Committee meeting last night. But as part of that, the sheriff has requested a portable classroom for the sheriff's department for teaching, I believe, at the workhouse, but I'm not sure of the location. And he had previously made that request to me if we had any portables, and I passed the word back that we wouldn't have anything. I didn't think for quite a while, but that does not. That's part of his budget. It doesn't involve us in any way, does it? This portable classroom he requested last night. Oh, did he? Well, he wants a brand new port, which is fine. I'm right. Well, I passed the word back, is what you told me, which was about 4 or 5 months ago, I guess, that we wouldn't have anything at least until the end of this coming summer. And that didn't seem, they weren't happy with that, so I guess he put one in his budget, which is his business.
I think you've got 250 students over there with one classroom that you had to use for all of those students to rotate them in and out, so it's quite,
There's some kindling out of some of a couple of those at least at John Coleman, I would suspect.
Mr. Chairman, back on, this maybe needs to be said out loud, back on the Part D, the proposal boundary survey, it's the middle school, I may have misled somebody, the middle school is scheduled to be built first, right? And then the elementary school at some future date. Okay, I just wanted to say that publicly, in case I said it in the reverse order a while ago, and I didn't mean to do that.
They did approve us, the monies to do the pads, so when we
Right.
start the groundwork, we'll be able to do it for both buildings, because it's just cheaper, once we bring in the equipment.
Mr. Odom, I think you wanted to share what you were going to go over tonight.
Mr. Sandvik and I did go up for your amendments you approved the last board meeting tonight. And then also, typically at this time, we give the Health and Education Committee tonight a preliminary look at our document with our budget. And so we do not go over it by line item and that sort of thing. It's for them to study it ahead of time. But I've listed 7 things there that we'll kind of be hitting a highlight that we want to draw their attention to tonight. So that's where we'll be. There's an interesting thing. The 7th month, I pulled 41,446. We're actually over the 7th month last year up 494 students, is what that's showing. So you can kind of see that some of you were mentioning the growth. I thought I would point out, because several members of that committee are from the Smyrna Laverne area. And so look at the Stewart's Creek numbers, their growth this year, based on that 7th month over the 7th month last year. I mean, that area is still growing very, very quickly down there. Part of the Whitworth Buchanan, some of that was rezoning, but part of it is beginning to be growth out there already also. So even Eagle at 3.8% for this year. So I thought that was interesting. Every day brings a new surprise to me from the state with budget stuff. It's so interesting to hear how they arrive at it. They promised us the $4.2 million for teacher salaries, and they base that. What they do is they take the state base salary, they do some averaging, and they do the increase on that. It actually comes out for us, Jeff, to about 2.6. Today, I got some more information about insurance, which is just really interesting to me. The state, it came up with another limited health insurance plan. You have HRAs, and you can kind of all these tiered. Well, the state averages the new one they created this year with what they had. And so when they finish the average, I asked Jeff this question. I said, Jeff, there's 12 months in a year, so each month of insurance should be 8.5%, right? That's just simple math. And it comes out that we're going to get something like 3.1%. And my question is how, why, or what? Well, part of the answer actually came through today from the superintendent's group that the state had sent them. When they average that together, then they do that extra month based upon some of that cheapest plan from the state. So again, they quote one number of what you think you're getting, but it is based on numbers that almost no one's using. So it just truly amazes me. Anyway, tonight is also you see that number 5 there. That, of course, that doesn't include utilities and other things. You really don't have a lot of your budget you can do a lot with when you stop and take a look at that. And Tonight, we're also going to bring up, we got that $1 million to come in from sales tax to go ahead and start the purchase on the laptops. So we'll be talking about that with them tonight. I thought really interesting here to me, the price, we may be able to get the laptop price down a little. Mr. Solomon has negotiated down the desktop. But Microsoft, now that they have, and this is starting now, starting this summer, Microsoft would give the Dells, the Lenovo's, the HP, the new Windows operating system for $1. That's what they did to install it, to get you hooked in. Now that there's no competition, they're going to charge $144 to all of these companies to put Windows on their machine. So we've negotiated with them, part of that cost of the laptop and all, that since if we would go ahead and buy and can buy this summer, that the company has agreed, right, Mr. Clardy? Mr. Solomon said the company's agreed to try to hold that $1 for us, working with Microsoft till we can get this purchase made. We hope we've got that worked out. So that's, when you buy that many computers, when you get 3,000 computers, that's monies too. So anyway, kind of let you see what we're talking about.
Item 7 there, the 6.8 million under square feet under roof, is that with our new 250,000?
No,
No.
we'll add that.
25,000 square feet of auxiliary building.
Okay.
We'll tell them that with our auxiliary building actually goes to stuff.
All right. And nowhere on here do I see, and maybe it's not the right time, any conversation about the dedicated funds for capital projects. Will it be part of item 7?
It's part of the, he's gonna bring it up in part of that, yes.
Okay.
Would go into those capital funds. We don't give a lot of great detail because you're talking to part of them, and sometimes it's better to get them all together when they come to our meeting in May.
Sure.
Yeah. On the effect of your action the other night was I increased the expenditures to approximately 7 cents, best estimate that we had at that point, which puts that fund out of, so essentially it is, you by that vote asked for little around 2.5 cents of property tax funding for that fund. It was submitted out of balance by that action.
Okay.
That's the way we have to do it.
Anybody else? That meeting starts at what, 5:30? 5:30. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Do not think so at this time. As far as we know, testing started today, and it went okay as best we can tell. You know, it's not online this year, but started for the grades 3 through 8 today. TCAP. EOC is another week or so away.
Busy month, well, busy next several weeks. Okay. Anybody else? Again, hopefully, if you have something, we can talk about Thursday night. If you have questions, of course, certainly call or email members of the staff or the director. Ms. Joyce, do you have anything? Okay. We'll see everybody at the regular time on Thursday instead of this early time. So we'll see you again on Thursday. We're adjourned.